Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing fine.
We try to get here a little early because other people do, like Jerry Finnegan.
Yeah, well, it's some meetings I go to, they say, well, make sure you get in early. In other meetings, doesn't make any difference.
I know some of them, and you get there and it's like, well, the host will start it pretty soon or something.
Yeah.
Hi, Steve. Got to pay attention because on this particular Zoom call, I have to admit people, and I've been known to forget to do that, and they just
I
sitting
know.
there waiting for me to let them. Okay, let's see. Oh, here comes Harry Hamilton. Hi, Harry.
Good morning. How are you
Where are
today?
you? Where are you from?
Where am I? I'm in lovely Sun River in front of at my desk and my computer.
Well, the Sun Rivers part sounded good. In front of your desk and your computer, you could probably do better.
Yeah, well, I seem to spend an awful lot of time in this position.
Yeah. Let's see, admit everybody.
Sun River is doing fine, except we desperately need rain.
You know, we do too over in the valley. I mean, Cottage Grove, Eugene area, and it's like, yeah, I'm a little worried about this summer.
Right.
Good morning, everybody who's just joining us.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Jerry. I see your mugshot, but I don't see you yet.
Oh, let's see. Apparently.
Let's see.
I gotta go mute my gardeners here. It's gonna be too noisy.
Excuse me while I try to get things set up here.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, how is it? How are you?
Doing great. There's more clouds on my Zoom than there are up in the sky today. So we have a blue sky out there, pretty much.
We had some clouds this morning, but they said it would be afternoon sun, and here it is 10 o'clock and we've got the sun already. So
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, so let's see. Oops, who's waiting? Who's waiting? Somebody's waiting for me, and I'm shirking my responsibilities here.
Oh, there's Andy Techna. Hey, Andy.
Howdy.
Coming. People are getting adjusted. I'm excited about having Carli join us this morning. She's got to squeeze us in between her kids. She's got 3, 5 years old and under.
Bye.
Where's she transmitting from?
She's coming to us from, here she comes. She's coming from us from Cochrane, Alberta, which is near Calgary. And she will probably tell us more about that when she comes, gets herself. There's Carli. Hi, Carli.
Hello.
I'm so excited that you could make it. You look just like your picture.
Oh, do I? Oh, good.
You must have photoshopped your filter there.
Well, that's when I actually do something to put something on my face. Most of the time I'm running around with the mom bun
Right, right. I just explained that you had 3 little ones, all 5 years old and under, and so you'll get us started and have to scoot when you have to scoot, and that's
Yeah.
just great.
Yeah,
Fine.
well, I'm happy to be
We're
here today. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, well, thanks for accepting the invitation. That's always the other half of that
Yeah.
deal.
Okay.
I'm gonna usually start at about 3 minutes after, and then people will trickle in as that, oh, here comes Marv, and here comes Mitch Allen. Do.
And hi, it's Terry Shepard. I'm actually took Shannon's place from Rotary of Greater Bend.
Oh, good. Well, see, Carly, if you ever get down to Oregon, you're gonna have all these friends.
I know, I love it. How's the weather in Oregon? Is it spring-like?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
In fact,
Wonderful.
we're a little bit of a drought thing going on
Okay.
already.
No. We have a major thing in drought going. Most of the state is in extreme drought.
Wow.
And the water content here in the middle of April is the same as the water content in the soil and plants that normally occurs in September. And
Wow.
so the prospect of a hot, fiery summer is very high. Terrible.
Harry, I was trying to give her the Chamber of Commerce speech.
I know. But we're all Rotarians, and so we have to go with.
Oh,
Is
that's
it the truth?
Is it
True.
the truth?
Okay.
It is supposed to start raining this week, though.
Yes, I have to work a vaccination clinic on Saturday. It's supposed to rain on Saturday.
Yeah.
Jeez, doesn't that just figure? But at least I won't be standing out for 8 hours in the hot sunshine. So that's okay.
Are your
Okay, here
vaccination
comes-
clinics outdoors?
Yes, one's at the fairgrounds, one's at the football stadium, and one's at the community college. So they're all outside in the parking lot. And last weekend, I think they did almost 10,000 vaccinations.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
a
this
drive-through. People
Yeah.
drive through in their cars, Carly. So that's why it's outside.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have drive-through testing clinics, like, for the swabs, but no drive-through immunizations, I guess, just because we're more of a winter climate. We're still waiting for the snow to melt.
Right. I almost, one of my emails to you, I almost said, well, enjoy the sunny day. And then I looked up the weather up in Cochrane and I went, forget that.
I know. We just got a huge dump of snow, just under a foot.
Wow.
Which is just
I
always
saw that.
thing,
There's quite a snowstorm going on in 2/3 of our country too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I
Yeah.
saw some in Denver and a couple other
Yeah.
places. So
Yeah.
spring can be fickle.
Well, I'm going to
Certainly
go ahead
can.
and start the meeting because we have to value all your time as well as Carly's time. Welcome everyone from District 5110 and Carly from Young Professional Rotary Club of Cochrane, which is outside of Calgary. And she'll tell us a little bit more about that. But the part that I can introduce her, it is kind of funny. I was looking around for who could speak to attracting young professionals. And I looked at Rotary International and they had some blogs. And so I contacted the people that wrote the blogs about attracting young professionals, and they didn't respond. So in my desperation, I got this idea. I'm going to Google Young Professional Rotary. And guess what? There's a youngprofessionalrotary.com in Cochrane, Alberta. And Carly is does membership services there. Her husband is the chair. It's a satellite club. And I saw their website and I went, oh, we got to share this. These guys are approaching Rotary like a different way than it's going to open our eyes, which I'm really excited to have Carly share. So I kind of gave her some questions to answer. Carly, I got to make you, where are you? I've got to make you a co-host here. Okay. And you can go ahead and take it over for as long as you like.
Sure. Well, I'll just tell y'all a little bit about kind of the origin of our group and how we came to be and how our first year has gone, if that's okay. And then you just let me know if I'm missing anything or haven't covered anything. And I can share I think you've given me screen sharing
Yep.
ability here. Okay, yes, perfect. So I can share our website in a little bit. So we kind of come, my husband and I come from kind of a long line of Rotarians on my in-laws side. So both my father-in-law and mother-in-law are in Rotary here in Cochrane, and my father-in-law started, I think, joined like a year or two after the group chartered. So he's been involved in the Cochrane group for, I want to say 20, 22 years, maybe. Can you hear me okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay, awesome. So anyway, so we've always seen them contributing, really meaningfully through Rotary, and it's always been such a passion of theirs. But we just kind of looked on and thought, eventually we'd get involved at some point in our life. We just didn't think now, or at this point with young kids and everything going on. Anyway, and so then it was his colleague, Stephen Sims, had always had this kind of desire to like foster or help launch a young professional Rotary group like the one we've launched. So he approached Ryan and I, my husband's name is Ryan, and just said, what would you guys think about spearheading this? Is this something that you'd be interested in doing? Do you have a group of young professional colleagues that would be interested in doing it with you? So we just started putting our feelers out there to see, and thankfully we live in a really cool town. Like we're just outside of Calgary, which is a city of about 1.3 million people. We are about 15-minute drive. We're kind of like a bedroom community where a lot of people commute to Calgary for work. So we have a ton of young professionals in our town, and our town's about 30,000 people. So anyway, we just had a mixer prior to COVID. I think it was maybe in January or February of 2020, and got about 25 people interested in signing up. So we decided to move forward. And then of course, COVID hit. So we had not even become a group yet. But we decided to press forward. And so we did, we all kind of swore into the group I believe it was like shortly after, probably the end of March. We did a big Zoom call. We all met once, for the real first official time after our mixer, prior to the pandemic kind of becoming a real thing. And we started the group over Zoom, and it's been carried out over Zoom the entire time. So unless we are doing an event. And so our first event, or the core components of the group, and a couple of things we wanted to make sure people knew about us, that we were different than maybe what they thought Rotary was about traditionally, is that it is flexible, which I know Rotary has become a bit more flexible in the past couple of years, but I think a lot of people in our age demographic were concerned they couldn't commit to it. They just couldn't, they'd like to, but they can't commit to meeting every week or every month or whatever the requirements were of the group. So we wanted to make sure people knew it was flexible. You contribute when you can, how you can. There's a core group of us that are part of the board, and we kind of keep things moving forward. But when we all meet up on Zoom and decide to go after an initiative, we really show up, and everybody gathers their resources, and together we were able to pull off some really cool events last year. So we're really, really proud. The two events that we had that kind of exploded in our area were the drive-in movie theaters. And I have to actually update our website. It's quite dated now. It's showing that event from July. But we got this idea because one of the gentlemen on our group helps run the folk music festival in Calgary. And then we have a lot of kind of entertainment connections in the area. So we thought, let's try to do something fun. People need a little bit of a mood booster. Everybody was just kind of coming out of the big first lockdown and not knowing what the future was going to look like. So we found a way to host a drive-in movie event safely. We were blown away by the support. People had to drive to our family dealership up the road here to get their tickets, and we sold out within minutes. Like we didn't even get people to pay for those tickets the first time around. So actually the second time around too, I take that back. We were able to do everything through sponsorship. So we sold out 2 events back to back, a couple of weeks, I guess, back to back. And the whole goal was to raise money for our food bank, a local food bank, to help them pay off the mortgage on their new building. And so between our efforts and then the efforts and our sponsorship, the sponsors that came on board with us and some matching programs, we were able to contribute about $90,000 through these 2 events to help them pay off that mortgage. Yeah, we're so happy. So, and they're the Cochrane Active Vets. They're just a wonderful community service that run our food bank. So we were just able to just, with the help of our community, people just jumped in. The whole community was so pumped to be a part of this because it's like the first thing we could all kind of gather for safely. And all of our unique skill sets came together to make it possible. So we're really proud of that. So we're trying to do 1 or 2 things like that a year, depending on what the needs are in the community, but it's only our first year last year. So, and the goal of it, for all of us is one, that we could connect with like-minded individuals who are in this same season of life where they, they're kind of in the middle of their working years. They have young children and they want to contribute to this community and make it a better place. And so on our homepage, which I'll show you in a second, we really emphasize the connection part of things, connecting with like-minded people, cultivating our business relationships and community relationships to strengthen them, and then also to contribute, to make sure that our actions are contributing to the betterment of all those involved. And so it was really fun to raise all that money, not only to help the food bank in town, but also the joy that it gave the citizens of Cochrane after such a sad kind of spring for the whole world. Obviously, everybody's been living through it. So that's kind of where we're at. We, as we led up to, because we're a baby group, our meetings weren't super regular leading up to that or after that, but we really pushed hard to meet when we could, how we could, to get things pulled together for those 2 big events. And then this year we've resumed some regular meetings because we will be hosting a golf tournament. We also have something in Cochrane, which is hilarious. I'm sure all towns have these funny little community events, but it's called the outhouse races. I don't know if that's what you call outdoor toilets when you're camping, but we have this, I don't know where it came from. There's a little shop in town called the Heavenly Outhouse, and it's this cute little bathroom shop. And somehow they sponsored the start of these outhouse races. So people put a team in and you have to like push an outhouse like you're pushing a bobsled up and down the street. And it sounds ridiculous, but it draws crowds of thousands and thousands of people. So we are going to be managing that event, and then also this golf tournament. And we're in the process of gathering funds for a couple different community initiatives as a result. So those are the things that we've committed to this week or this year that we'll be working on. So we've begun meeting more frequently over Zoom to kind of gather all of our unique skill sets and resources to make sure that both of those are a success. And then I believe the other thing you wanted me to mention was sponsorship, right? We had chatted about that. So when it came to sponsorship, that was partially my responsibility to create a website that people could go to and see what we're about, what we're working on, and why it's important. And then I also created the documentation that our group could then take, because I do both copywriting and web design. So I created some documents that equipped our group with kind of like a broad perspective of what we were doing with the drive-ins, why it was important, and who the money was going to, so that they could more easily go to connections within their circles and ask them if they'd be interested in sponsoring the event. And then of course, any sponsors were rewarded with different tiers of publicity. So we had, when we did the big drive-in movie theater, there was some that had a banner right across the top for our gold sponsor, which was Spray Lake Sawmills here in town. So people like that, they contributed $10,000 to the event. So we made sure to thank them all throughout both events, on and on. And then, so there's like the gold, silver, bronze, all those kinds of things. And then within the package that I created for everybody within our group, they could kind of take that and bring it to people within their community. But, we had businesses contributing $100, $250, or, free popcorn from some restaurants for people to kind of drive by, grab the popcorn, and then go watch the show. So we were sure to thank everybody, whether it was in our pre-roll before the movie or in other ways. But the community really showed up and was keen to give, and we just tried to do our best to thank them. I think a lot of us have a marketing background, so we worked really hard to make sure that the sponsors felt acknowledged and seen and appreciated, but they were also just so eager to help and do something good for the community. So it all came together really beautifully, and we're really pleased with how that happened. So yeah, I don't know if there's any other questions, or if you'd like me to show the website at this point.
I would like you to show the website and walk us through it. I'm really interested in your membership page. I want to share that with this group, how you have the name and the photo of each member, what they do, why they joined. I think that's something we can learn from. And then a connect button, which connects directly to your business or
Yeah.
your LinkedIn page or something. If so, you could just go ahead and walk us through and then show them how many sponsors you have, because I was blown away by that.
Yes, we really did have a lot. It was amazing. Let me just pull open. Okay, can you see my screen now, everybody?
Yep.
Okay, so this is actually I probably shouldn't go full screen so I can see you. Okay, there we go. So this is our website. So yeah, we would just wanted, with every website I design, I wanted to make sure people get like a real impact visual when they arrive. So passion led us here. And it's really true. You know, everybody in our group, they're passionate about Cochrane, and Cochrane's an easy place to love. I mean, we're on the way to Banff and Canmore, which is just like the jewel of the Rockies, but we're right outside the city. So it is a beautiful and easy place to love. And everybody who's involved in the group gets it, that we've all settled in this beautiful valley, and we're very happy to be here and be raising our family here. So right away, we wanted to show people, what does young professional Rotary look like? Because again, a lot of us, oh, go ahead. Did you have something to say there?
I was just going to say, I love connect, cultivate, and contribute. That, you know, there's a connection, a friendship, and a networking, and then the cultivating piece, which we don't focus on as much as maybe we should to attract young professionals, is professional development.
Yeah,
that I thought was, and then of course contribute. So if you want to say any more about that, I think that's awesome. How do you do the cultivate piece?
So, but prior to when we first started the group, we had an intention to have a monthly speaker, whether it was over Zoom or in person. And we had a couple booked. And then when COVID hit, we kind of had to regroup. So what we plan to do moving forward is like a once monthly Zoom call, or maybe once every 2 months until kind of the world regulates. Because so many people are still home. Like, I don't know what it's like down there for you guys, but we're kind of in a third lockdown right now. So Canada's just a little bit behind the 8 ball. So we are meeting up is difficult to do. And so a lot of people are still home with their kids working and juggling a lot of balls. So we are trying to be sensitive to that as a group and not applying any pressure additionally to what our group members are already juggling. That said, for instance, things like this, my father-in-law and their group with the Rotary Club here in town, they are spearheading the linking of the Great Trail, which is a recreation trail that spans all of Canada. And the link between our town, Cochrane, and Canmore, which is kind of the beginning of the Alberta National Parks, into Banff, which is a huge tourist site, tourist destination, needs to be paved and needs to be created. So their group is spearheading that along with the Treaty 7 nations that surround our town, the province of Alberta. So we've been invited to come be a part of that and be representation of the young professionals on that project. So things like that, if we choose to engage with them, give us access to just incredible business people in our province and in our country who have done incredible philanthropic things, but also have tremendous careers to speak of. So right now, even though we don't have regularly scheduled kind of sessions that we intended to have where we could learn from someone who had worked in a profession far longer than us, we are getting opportunities to contribute to projects like that, which are giving us that same kind of cultivation where we're able to contribute our skill set and learn from someone who's gone before us, as we all kind of partner on a really cool new project. So that's what we're doing for Cultivate right now. But in the future, we really look forward to having a regular speaker. People can kind of come in, listen if they want. They don't have to attend if they don't want to, but the goal is that by doing so, you know, you're edifying yourself and you're helping yourself with either your professional craft or family or balance or something. And then contributions. So just the whole goal of everything we do is to make our town and the Bow Valley that we live in better. So that's what we're working towards. And then here we just kind of explain, like, we're just a team of young professionals. There's no head office. We're just all kind of volunteers doing what we can to help this thing keep moving forward, and inviting people to learn more about it so then they can contact us. So then I'll just show you our members here. So this is a really fun kind of thing that we wanted to do too here, is showcase our members, explain a little bit about them briefly and why they joined Rotary, and then also make sure that we link to their business, because we really wanted to make sure that yes, we want this to be philanthropic for the most part, but also acknowledging we're all young and in the, well, youngish, and in the real working years of our life, it's nice to connect with one another, so we, even from working with one another, people are finding out that we're in the auto industry, they're buying their vehicles from us, find out someone's in the financial investment industry, we talk to them about our investing. There's a great interbusiness, and I'm sure you found this in your Rotary group too. Once you learn what you're all good at and what you work on outside of Rotary, you definitely do turn to one another when you need that particular service. And so that's happening within our group as well. But we also wanted to make sure that if people came here to find out more about us, that they could go to our websites and connect with us directly there. So, and then of course, with my focus on web design, if you click the button to go see someone's site, it's not going to exit you out of the Young Professional Rotary. It's going to take you in a separate window. It's going to keep the Young Professional Rotary window open on those browsers. Anyway, so then, yeah, so that's our members, and people can just get to know us a little bit more. We actually have a lot more members that we need to update on from the success of the drive-through movies. We had a ton of people kind of come out of the woodwork and just be like, I want to be part of this. And really, really neat, cool people running businesses in town. So probably have easily 10 more people to add to this page, which is wonderful. And that's the cool thing too about doing fun events that people want to be a part of, is more people put their hand up and want to help. And that was wonderful too. So we're really happy that there's so much interest. Up here is where we talk about our projects. So we want to have on the website just an update of the projects we're working on. So I have to update this because this is still showing last summer's project. But if you guys want to, after the meeting, I recommend.
Look at that.
Yeah, I should show you this. Maybe I can do it without.
I mean, look how many people are there.
Oh yeah, it was huge. You actually, are you okay if I play this video for a minute?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
To show you the event?
Do you guys care?
If
Answering.
if the volume's okay here. It's only 1 minute and 48 seconds, so I'll just let it play if that's okay, and you can kind of see the whole event. We had a professional videographer come out who's a friend of one of our members who does videography for him for the folk music festival, and so he donated his time to be listed as a sponsor on our website and in the media credits. So he did this whole thing for us just to showcase the event. So I'll just let it play through for 1.5 minutes. So can you hear me okay now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect. Get a little misty-eyed every time I watch that. It was just so sweet. It got a little dark there when he did the drone footage, but we sold out. We sold out 2 of those parking lot fulls, back to back, or I guess 2 or 3 weeks apart. We did one in middle of June and then the other one on the Canada Day weekend, which is kind of like our Independence Day, it's July 1st. And so, yeah, and it was just incredible, just the turnout of the community and of our sponsorships, just a massive list of sponsors who wanted to be part of it. I think everyone was so eager to come together after being apart and not knowing what the future looked like. after the spring. So it was just a really cool way to bring everybody together whilst remaining distant. And so you can even see how we staggered the cars there. We didn't go car like side by side by side by side like we could have in that space. So yeah, so that's just, you know, by kind of joining forces, and I'll just show you the list of our sponsors here. We were able to create something like this. And I don't know if it's because everybody a lot of people in our group have like cold calling backgrounds like myself, or what it is that we felt like, I don't know, we were able to just pull together a really good presentation of what the event was going to be about, why it was important, and what we're raising money for. And the community just showed up in such a big, beautiful way. So we're just so grateful. And we're really looking forward to a big year. We're taking on 2 events now instead of like this. The movies were 2 events, but it was technically 1 because it was the same kind of setup and everything. So we're planning on taking on 2 large events this year, and seeing how we do with that. And the organizations that we're going to contribute to are yet to be decided. That's one thing we're working through this year, is collecting sponsorship for different, contributing to different things. So once we kind of get a sense of what the needs are in the community and talk to some various organizations, then we'll figure out what the golf course, what the golf tournament's going to go towards, and what the outhouse races are going to go towards. But again, it will just be mostly collecting sponsorship. It is genuinely asking people for money to contribute to a cause, for our thanks and for promoting them. But that is what they get in return. So we just try to do a really good job of making sure that they feel seen and acknowledged and promoted among the crowds that we gather.
Carli, talk to them about, you are a satellite club at this point with, I think, aspirations to become a real club or grown-up club or whatever. And talk about how you see the dues going forward. Happening, because that's something that people worry about young professionals. So I just wanted to hear your take on that.
Yeah, I think that potentially, and this would probably be a better thing for my husband to weigh in on, because he's in these conversations more than I am. I haven't been a part of that as much as like the marketing of the events. We are looking to charter this year on our own. And so we will be structuring dues on some level, but I'm not sure to what level, and it likely will be similar to what we've been paying. But I feel like, I mean, we kind of lucked out with the way things went last year and how our events kind of exploded and the way the media took hold of them, because our group became something desirable to be a part of. People wanted to join and were excited to join. And so I don't think the dues are going to be off-putting for most people, you know, because I think they see the value in being part of the group and how much it's benefited all of our businesses, but how it's just kind of put the group on the map in terms of like a media perspective and like a collaboration perspective with other businesses, whether it's when we're working with YPR or if we're working on our own businesses. So I don't think the dues will be that off-putting to people, but we may be in a fortunate position just because last year we got so much attention for the events that we did. And it was really interesting. I mean, my husband was and our group, but people were calling him because he's the chair, like all across Canada. Like he probably heard from like 20 to 25 groups across Canada who then replicated the event in their provinces. So it really kind of caught a bit of a media firestorm, which was wonderful. And so I think, you know, that's a long answer, but I think the dues won't be won't put people off because they can see the value of being part of a group like this.
Well, just the value, and then the networking opportunity, the way you've set things up, that there's really a strong networking, and a lot of our clubs are, a lot of Rotary is baby boomers, and the networking isn't quite as important as it was once when we were young professionals, and just to be reminded of how important that is. Other questions before Carli has to run. Carli and I had this thing that we wanted to run through all these questions that I thought you might have, but you might still have some more. If so, unmute yourself and go ahead and ask.
So I have a question, Carli. As far as the young professionals is concerned, I guess I'm wondering how you define the young part, and whether or not you foresee eventually encouraging your members to become part of a a larger or regular club, or although you guys are going to be a regular club, but you're not going to be young forever, let me tell you. So how does that, is there a transition that you've worked out, or how does that work to keep people involved with Rotary?
It's a great question, and we're talking about it right now because we started. We didn't even really pick the name. It was Stephen, who's part of the Rotary group here in Cochrane, and my father-in-law and their group. We're like, we want to get a young group going, so we're gonna spearhead like people who are younger than us. Let's get them going, and we'll call it. And then we were like, young professional, and then I looked up URLs to buy for the website, and I was like, youngprofessionalrotary.com is available. So that's how we became, the YPR. But we've been having that conversation already because, I'm 36 and there's people in our group who are 40, 41, 42. And we want to be a group for a long time. Ideally we want to create a culture within our group that we take with us for years and years and years. I look at my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, and they're in a group that they've been in for 25 years. And we want that too with this group, even though we know members will come and go. So we're in the process right now of thinking of a name change. There's a couple of, towns around us where there's like Calgary Connect, or there was Airdrie After Dark. Like there was a couple of different names of towns and organizations similar to ours. But I also recognize, Christine, you Googled Young Professional Rotary and you found us. So it's worth keeping. I mean, we'll definitely keep that URL, even if we change our name and have that redirect to our site,
Right.
With our new name. But you're exactly right. We want to change it to something that's all encompassing, because we also don't want anybody coming over who's like, I'd love to join your club and I'm 50. And of course, or 20. So
Right.
we don't, for us, I mean, the reason why we did create it is because we wanted to kind of have this flexible structure that was like, hey, prior to all of us becoming a group, we were all people with these same values. We were working hard on our careers, we're raising our families, and family time's important to us, and we love our community. Mm-hmm. And so this organizing and in this body, like in this group, has just given us the ability to merge our efforts in a way that's really strengthened it and allowed us to do so much more than if we were trying to do it individually. And so we want to keep that going. So we do need to think of a different name and restructure that so that everybody feels welcome and that we can all stay together for forever, not have an ironic name.
Thank you, Carly. I don't want to monopolize, but I have one more really fast question. Sure. Do you have 20, 30 clubs in Calgary?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
That name. Sorry. Great. No. Maybe I haven't heard of it though.
Yeah, thanks.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Carly, how often do you actually schedule Zoom meetings? How often do you quote meet, or at least offer a meeting to your members? And then what are your dues and what are they based on as far as fees?
You know what? I'd have to double check. I want to say, I'm sorry, I don't know our actual dues. I feel like that was an email that my husband just handled and I didn't look at the dues. I want to say they're like $200. Does that sound about right to what you guys pay yearly?
Yeah. Well, for national expenses and such, if you're not meeting in a facility.
Yeah.
I want to workable.
Maybe 150 to 200. I'll double check and I'll email you, Christine, so you guys have the number that we're paying right now. As for how often we meet, the goal was once a month socially at like our favorite restaurant, or there's some microbreweries here in town. So somewhere to support a local restaurateur. But because again, with COVID, like literally we have not been able to this whole year. I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but like no gatherings of that size. So we Zoom, but then, after we did the big push to get those 2 drive-throughs going, and then it was like we were into back to school and we were all trying to figure out how our kids are going to school or if they're going to school. We just were like, pause for a second on YPR while we all figure out homeschooling, which that's what I'm doing this year, is homeschooling my eldest daughter and then the 2 younger ones here at home. And then anyway, so long answer once again is we're going to aim for monthly. And right now, like we just a couple weeks ago set our monthly meetup. So I think it's the 3rd Thursday of every month now moving forward.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And then because we have a lot of events coming up in the summer, so we have to start meeting really frequently. And as we approach an event, we'll have way more meetings than that. We'll just kind of on an as needed basis.
Okay. All righty. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So I have a question, Carly. Thanks so much for the presentation. I really enjoyed the video. It is very professionally done and a great thing. Our club did a couple, 2 or 3 movies in the past, but that was in person. We could take over a hillside in a local park. So those movie ideas are great. The one thing I want to ask though is it's always a challenge to keep your website timely because that's how you're going to attract new members. And I'm kind of surprised that you have June 2020 as kind of a lead in that. And that's an observation, not a criticism, because it's a criticism of all of us. It's really hard to keep those things up on a constant basis. So any comments on that? Because you're a webmaster.
Big time. That's my job. And
Right.
you know what happened? You're so right. And what honestly happened is because during COVID, everybody needed to go virtual. And so my personal business just boomed with inquiries. I do a lot of web design, mostly for women in business, a lot of mothers in business. And so I got so busy with my own projects that I just haven't gotten in there to update. Thankfully, though, we've got new projects to put in there. So I will be doing that this week or next and letting everybody know. But also I find people again, it should be kept current, although I do typically do the design and then hand it off to a client for them to upload their content and keep it current. And then the poor little YPR one just got kind of set on my back burner, but it will be fixed soon. And yeah, and then we will have it updated with fresh stuff. I do find too, though, our traffic kind of goes like intense when we're announcing something, media coverage, tons of traffic. And then like a time like right now, barely anything. And almost no one's really looking unless you're actively searching for us. But we definitely get a lot of attention when we're announcing events. And so in which case I'll definitely have it up to date at that point.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much. Another question I had is, I did a quick look at, I actually went through Cochrane on the way to Calgary one time. And so my question is, do you pull in mostly the young professionals in and around, or do you broaden that outreach to Calgary or the major metro areas?
We do have a couple people in our group who live in acreages just outside of town. But we really do want to be open to the whole Bow Valley. I know even Canmore and Banff. I mean, it's a bit of a drive. It's like 45 minutes from the mountains into us. But certainly if people wanted to join, and actually now that I say that, we do have one member who lives in Banff because she wanted to start a similar group in Banff. So she wanted to be a part of ours to see how she could go about creating one in Banff. So definitely, again, I don't think exclusive, although our mandate is to contribute to this community. So if people from Calgary wanted to join, knowing that the funds that we're gathering are going to be donated in town or in the Bow Valley and not in Calgary, then they're very welcome to. It's just we're trying to funnel our efforts into where most of us live and where the club kind of exists.
Okay. And one last question you had on that website, I wrote this down, Spray Lake Sawmills. Is that a major sponsor of your club?
Yeah,
that's
they're
a big corporate sponsor.
They're a huge business in town. One of the kind of like I don't want to say founding families, but a very large business family here in town. And yeah, they have the Spray Lake Sawmills here. And then they also were the lead sponsor in our huge like recreation facility here. And then another one is Green Drop was a high level sponsor as well. And that's a very large like provincial company that's rooted out of Cochrane and gravel company. So
great,
great
work.
And they're part of the original Rotary with my father-in-law who's in the auto. So it was beautiful, like the original Rotary group really coming together because they've experienced the benefits of being in a group together and helping one another elevate their lives, their businesses, and their community. And so they were extremely generous in helping us with our first event and kind of giving us better awareness, and the ability to pull together a bigger thing that the town was just so happy with and totally in love with. So it was really nice kind of synergy between our two groups.
What district are you in, by the way?
You know what? I don't know. I have to double check that because once again, I'm only doing YPR communication.
Okay, I can check.
I'm doing everything with Rotary, with the upper Rotary.
Google it.
Yeah, I'll Google it. Yeah.
I will. The reason I ask is I'm a district governor-elect, and we have cohorts, from the Big West Zone here.
I'll send you the information, Christine, afterwards. I'll get that from you.
Okay, yeah, I always send out a recap, and I always record the presentation, and I know a lot of people that couldn't make the program this morning will want to watch this because the program was pretty hot topic on most of our minds.
Sizzling.
Sizzling even. That's so funny. Yeah. And I wish I knew all that data, but full disclosure, when my husband first approached me about this after Stephen and my father-in-law had chatted about it, I had just had our third baby. He was 4 months old. I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like I'm working from home, and this was before COVID. So I was like, working from home, the 3 kids, 5 and under, like, I just can't see myself. And then he was like, no, I think we can do it. We'll just, you don't have to do much, but just maybe help with the website. And then of course we all got going and the snowball starts rolling and you love it and you want to be a part of it. But the details I wasn't paying much attention to as it was forming. And now that we're all a group, just kind of feeding off the momentum that we've created and really enjoying it. And I'm so happy that I said yes.
Okay, I just Googled it. You're Rotary District 5360.
Okay.
There you
Are
go.
they in the Big West?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so you're in our zone 26, 27. So we might see you in the future at some zone training things or zone orientation programs. So
I love it. I love it.
Other questions really quick for Carli. I bet her kids are starting to miss her.
I know. I got the little guy napping, and then my oldest daughter is just on her watching a show in the other room, and then my mini middle is at her play school for the morning. So we're okay for a couple more minutes.
I don't see any hands waving. Well, I want to take this opportunity to Carli to thank you so much. I will look forward to your dues follow-up and any other follow-up that you want to give us. I'm speaking for everyone. Go ahead and unmute yourself, everyone, and let's all give her a shout out of thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, Carli.
Carli. That was great.
Thank you so much, Carli.
Thank you.
Very nicely done.
Really, your energy shows, and your energy is something that we need to infuse in all of our clubs.
Yeah.
Hey, Carli, how do I become young again so I can join your club?
I'm working on finding the answer to that one. I don't know. And the deeper I get into motherhood, the older I feel. So I'm not sure. I know.
Youth is a matter of mind, Marvin.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you.
it is. Oh, well, it was lovely meeting all of you. Thank you so much for having me.
And you're welcome to stay around. I'm not kicking you out. I just want to respect your time. You said you could maybe stay for 15 minutes and look at us.
I know. No, you're wonderful. I will leave now because I work during his nap time. So I got about 2 hours.
You have work to do. Okay. And I'll talk to you on Friday.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to it.
I can't believe I'm getting a call from Steve Austin. Good morning, sir.
See you later, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Marv, there's a water source down in Florida you should check out.
Will do.
Oh, that's right. The Fountain of Youth.
Fountain of Youth. That's what Marv needs.
That's right. Well, we've got about 10 minutes before I'm going to do a wrap up and tell you what's coming up in the membership forums. More good stuff. But anybody want to debrief or talk about what she said or have any ideas about how you might apply it to your club? I know I got a lot of ideas just out of looking at their website.
I look forward to spending more time on that website to get an even bigger feel.
Right. Well, one thing that was really interesting towards the bottom of the front page is that none of their meetings are mandatory.
I heard.
So that this whole perfect attendance thing is sort of out the window, but they make them so fun and rewarding that the people are involved. So, but it's not a mandatory thing. So I think that's the same thing with the way they get new members is that, they don't go out and recruit them. They go out and attract them.
Good point.
Any other comments?
I want to I was thinking about how they will transition into the future because they're starting kind of all together in one group, and so how people usually join Rotary clubs is they come and check it out, and if there's people there that's like them, then they feel more comfortable. And so being attracting young professionals really means you really have to already have young professionals in your club.
Well, if you think back to when a lot of us joined, I was probably 30 something like that. I was a business manager. And community involvement was very important to my business. So, and I think that there's a lot of boomers that are in that category, and we all joined as a group. I mean, look at how big the baby boom, they call it a boom, right? That's why. And a lot of us joined at that time, and there were a lot of people our age, my age, in the club that I joined in over on the Oregon coast. And it takes having them to attract them. That's true. And I'm kind of in the middle of starting a satellite club. Well, I was before COVID came along. That we didn't want to call it a young professionals. We were talking about after hours satellite club, because we didn't want to exclude anybody, but we wanted to make it more convenient for young professionals. Without the idea necessarily that it would become their own club, but it could. What do you guys think about having a satellite that ends up becoming their own club and then you lose those members? What do you think about that?
I'm in Corvallis with Jerry, and we actually had a young professionals satellite club start up 4 years ago, something like that. And we had 2 or 3 meetings, and they had a project scheduled, and there was tons of energy behind it. In fact, we even had some of our members of our regular club be like, yeah, I'm leaving to go have fun with those guys. And I forget exactly what fizzled out with them. I think we just had a couple of the leaders of the club, their life changed and they sort of lost interest, and there was nobody else to sort of carry the flag for them. But it was a really cool thing to see almost go anyway. I just hope that group can keep the momentum moving forward. And, so many of those people who get invigorated with something like that, they just want to help their community, which is exactly what she kept talking about. And so that's what people are going to be drawn to, I think, regardless of age. People want to help their community, and they've got, a lot of energy with helping their community in an extremely rough time, right? Everybody needs help in pandemic. And so hopefully as we work out a pandemic, and they do up there, that they can keep their momentum and their energy going.
I think young professionals that are in their 20s and after 5 would probably be really good. But we're finding we've got 5 members in their early 30s. They all have children. So come 5:30, they want to get home to their families. So that might be an issue to have an after 5 for young professionals.
Well, and their posture is great. They do one a month. I mean, you could do 1 meeting a month. You could do service. You could do, and it's not mandatory. So that flexibility, I think, works. Andy's right. We had young professionals. We actually co-opted another young professional group at the time, and they joined. They became, and it wasn't an official satellite club at the time, because that wasn't a posture of Rotary, but it was. I forget what it was called, but anyway, I mean, research tells us that people join Rotary for the service, because we're out there, and as Christine has suggested, they're attracted to the service, and they stay for the fellowship. So that group had fellowship, but the leadership for service kind of fizzled out. So everything went astray. Yeah, and it's I think it's like anything else. You got to just pay attention to it. I mean, somebody's got to keep that ball rolling and keep the group moving. And so, yeah, that was a lesson for us of what not to do in the future in terms of working with young professionals. But I firmly believe they're out there. As a matter of fact, we have Assistant Governor Lee Eckroth in our district and our club working right now trying to put together a regional club. And we'll see how that goes. especially as we start pulling ourselves out of this pandemic and you know, get to the point where we can meet in person.
When I think about boomers, I think our lives are pretty stable, but back when we were in the 30s, in that young professional era, they're changing jobs, they're getting promotions and taking on more responsibility and having families that they need to go home to. And so that's where having a continual source of new young professionals is really important. And then marketing what they're doing. I was interested in the point she made that when they're doing something, their website searches go way up. Well, I bet ours do too. You know, when we're doing something, people are talking about us, they're thinking about us. So, you know, we have to toot our own horns, and we have to get out there on the platforms where people will see us and want to be a part of it.
Christine,
Janet,
with this thought of being more flexible, do y'all meet once a week, or do you have a different time schedule? I know most of you are on Zoom, but do any clubs represented here meet less than once a week?
our satellite club meets once a month.
Once a month.
And sometimes twice a month. They do work on projects. And so sometimes they do, and they aren't a young professional club. They are, for lack of a better word, an old professional club. That club is headquartered in a retirement community. And I tell you, they invite people from the retirement community to come and help with the projects they do. And they're the only ones that have been keeping new members coming in and helping our club grow, because they're a satellite of our club. So we get, you know, credit for those members. But
Christine, who started that satellite?
I did. I'm a satellite. I just think it's such a great idea. It's, you know, I'm a flying by the seat of my pants, thinking outside the box kind of person. And I think that Rotary talks about that, but we have to try harder to be that, to survive going into the future. If we keep doing what we've always done, I've always said, you know, the baby boomers are going to be wiping drool off their chins and coming in walkers, and who's going to be doing the volunteer work? We have to.
That's a lovely thought, Christine.
When you listen to Carli, though, and I mean, I think it's one thing to be youthful, and of course, with the title of their club, everyone automatically has something in common before they even ever get to know each other. However, I'm with Andy and Jerry, and I think the real key is not in establishing something new, it's in sustaining it. And then, so you generally have these very charismatic leaders that want to give back to the community and invite others to do it because it's so much fun, and you can accomplish more. And so then you travel through the first year or two or three, and everybody's excited, and then it's the sustainability. And so how do you keep that? And then those energetic leaders may depart, and who takes their place? And, you know, I think it's in the structure of those groups. You know, I guess the devil's in the details.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that planned longevity, you know,
yeah, it's that, how do you keep it fresh? And I think that's what all of our Rotary clubs really are facing right now, is that sense of freshness and sustainability. And then, you know, what do you offer younger members within the structure of the current club? And how can you, yeah.
Well, I think sustainability might have to be an upcoming forum topic, don't you? Don't you think that would be a good one? Because we talk about recruiting, and we talk about involving and engaging, and, you know, we talk about all these things, But that sustainability, that long-term vision, that long-term plan is really important. Well, I'm going to take the last 5 minutes and give you a couple of clues of what's coming up. On May 15th, we have what used to be called the District Training Assembly. It's now called the Club Training Assembly. There are a lot of good programs. Corey Lepardi, who I see here, is coming back to do a program on hybrid meetings, which is something that there is a lot of interest in. We had a forum topic on that, and it's just like so much to learn and so much to think about, and how do you actually facilitate it, or do we actually want to? Anyway, so he's covering that. I've been asked to talk about, they gave me sort of an open agenda, and so I decided to talk about, my training session is going to be about, Rotary talks about being member-centric or member-focused, but are we? Some of the terms that we still use sound more club focused, and we're going to explore those terms in that 40 minutes that I have with you, and talk about how can we reframe these things to really make it member focused. Because if we're just growing Rotary for Rotary's sake, our members are going to know it, and those outsiders that are considering membership are going to know it. So they're going to be able to see right through that. So we're going to talk about some of the terms we use and how we might reframe those. Then 3 days later, on May 18th, we have another member forum. And that one is going to be on mentoring, which is going to kind of take off from, that's one of those terms that we're going to talk about on the 15th at the Club Training Assembly. But we're gonna look a little bit more about mentoring, because mentoring has had mixed reviews, mixed success. And I know in my club, we had the board, we had the membership committee, we had the mentorship committee, and we had the sponsor of a new member. And everybody thought everybody else was doing whatever they were supposed to do to build in that sustainability and to get these people oriented. And it ended up that really nobody was doing it as well as we should have been doing it. So we're going to explore that whole concept of mentorship and how do we get our members involved in our club in a long-term, sustainable, Monica, way that will keep us going in the future. So that's what's coming up. Anybody have a parting word of wisdom?
Well,
Inspiration?
if I could talk about a couple other events coming up.
Oh, great. Thank you.
As you know, we have a celebration conference that was originally scheduled for May 30th. That is going to be postponed until August 27th and 28th. That'll be in Bend at the Deschutes Fairgrounds. And if you've never been to a Rotary International Convention, it's virtual this year. It was going to be in Taipei. They have canceled that, and it's going to be virtual the 12th to 16th. So for a $45 registration fee, and it's open right now, you can access it at the Rotary website. You can attend an international convention, and it is really something to behold.
Yeah, I went to the one last year, of course, because it was virtual too. And being president, I would plan to go to the one in Hawaii, but that didn't happen.
Right.
And it was great. And they also record the sessions. So if, I missed one of the sessions that I wanted to go to, but then they had the recording of it. So I could go to it on my own time. So there's something to be said for those virtual sessions because of the recording thing. I think it would be nice to always do that. Corey, do you want to add anything about your program for the Club Training Assembly?
Oh, well, put me on the spot.
Of course.
It's a topic that's continually evolving, and we really, I would encourage people to come to that session with the desire to discuss basically making these meetings more inclusive for both groups. And one of the things that I'm hearing that we're really trying to work against is you know, people saying, well, we're not going to do hybrids. We're going to just do in-person meetings and online only meetings, and they can sort themselves out. And you really start to segregate clubs when you do that. So we want to figure out ways that we can get clubs to come more together. And, you know, we just did a survey for a potential event in the fall for our district, and about 60% of people said that they were not interested in meeting in person. You know, you do a survey like that and you go, okay, well, if they're not interested in meeting in person, then we got to figure out a way to make some sort of virtual hybrid thing work for these people, because those are our members. And we can't say, well, sorry, 2/3 of our members, we'll see you when the whole world wants to get back together. So we really want to emphasize and work on how do we make this inclusive for both groups of people. And so that's the mental space I would ask people to come to when they're coming to that session.
That's going to be a good session. And I will be there for sure. Anyway, well, thank you guys. It's 11:01. I'm sorry I took an extra minute of your valuable time. I really appreciate you getting. I'll be sending out again the link for the YouTube channel that will have this recording and all the rest of the recordings that we've had of our past forums. So if you missed one and want to see it, or if you just want to review what we talked about, the information is there. So thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Christine.
Christine.
Bye.